Some of the most widely recognized lines from movies were not scripted, but actually improvised by the actors themselves.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
You talking to me?
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Here's Johnny!
I'll have what she's having.
Chicago is a city known as rich in the theater arts, a home to many critically acclaimed theater companies. The Second City, an improv comedy club that is recognized for reviving the act of improvisation in a new, fresh way, gave audiences a new concept in theater. The act of improvising dates back to periods to the 16th to the 18th centuries. Italian actors practiced a form of theater known as commedia dell'arte.
I mean, I think you can even go way back to Commedia dell'arte when they would go from town to town and they would, before they do their performance, go around and get like the town's gossip and make the show. They had these stock characters, but they would make the show relevant to the audiences that they would perform for.
The nation was in the midst of a comedy revolution. In mid-December 1959, when Bernard Solons, Paul Sills, and Howard Alk conceived an idea to open a coffee house where people could gather to talk, drink coffee, and smoke while being entertained. They called it the Second City. The self-mocking name was adopted from a 1952 article published in the New Yorker magazine and written by A.J. Liebling, in which he labeled Chicago as a second city after New York. Subsequent to opening the Second City, Paul Sills co-founded an ensemble troupe called the Compass Players. The Compass Players opened its first show on July 5, 1955, and drew large crowds with their scenario-based improvised scenes. Paul Sills' mother was Viola Spolin, often referred to as the godmother of improvisation. She created acting exercise techniques called theater games.
And it was Viola Spolin who recognized that something remarkable was happening in the playing of games. She saw how these kids who could not get along on the street, who could not communicate, who could not connect with one another, who could not find the means to see the worth of one another as individuals, would all of a sudden get it together around the playing of games.
Paul used these techniques to train and direct with the Compass Players. Despite their success in drawing audiences, the company eventually closed in January 1957 due to financial issues. Many of the Compass Player cast members went on to find fame, notably Mike Nichols, Barbara Harris, and Jerry Stiller. Solon, Sills, and Alk found a space in Chicago's near North neighborhood, now known as Old Town. They set up shop at 1842 North Wells, in a building that previously housed a cleaner's and a laundry shop. On December 16, 1959, the Second City was officially open for business. Opening night only required a $2.50 entrance fee, and people continued to return night after night. Word about the Second City spread quickly, and it soon became the place for celebrities to visit while they were in town. 3 short months after their opening, Time magazine praised the struggling theater as a place where the declining skill of satire is kept alive with brilliance and flourish. A new concept in theater was beginning to emerge. Audiences responded to their format segmented into 2 acts of satire comedy, with the second half using audience suggestions to improvise and act out the scenes.
We'll need some suggestions from you and the audience. First of all, we'd like you to suggest a character.
Peanut vendor.
A peanut vendor, thank you. And
We have another character.
another one, please.
Over here, perhaps.
Over the next decade, it appeared that a new genre of entertainment was born. The Second City style of using improv and sketch comedy took off. In September 1960, 9 months after opening, the Second City had its first Broadway run in New York. By the time the year 1973 rolled around, Second City had already made appearances in London, performed in Toronto, had their first television special, completed a national tour, collaborated in the creation of the science fiction movie The Monitors, and opened a new company in Toronto. When the Second City first came onto the scene in the 60s, musicals were mainly the form of theater entertainment, such as Man of La Mancha, Hello Dolly, Camelot, and Funny Girl. Even popular musicals such as My Fair Lady and The Sound of Music were later made into movies. Movies during this decade started to carry more political themes. Television showed cartoons that appealed to both children and adults alike. The impact of improv and sketch comedy from the Second City inspired shows such as Saturday Night Live and SCTV in the 70s, both of which numerous alumni of Second City moved on to appear in. Chicago's chapter of the Second City became the training ground of many stars, producing famous actors such as John Belushi, Joan Rivers, Joe Flaherty, Gilda Radner, Dan Aykroyd, Eugene Levy, Shelley Long, Chris Farley, Steve Carell, and Tina Fey. Others went on to create improv companies within the city. Mick Napier founded the Annoyance Theater. Del Close started I.O., or Improv Olympic. A new genre of entertainment was growing in the Chicago community.
Outside of Chicago, I think it's even a different situation. Chicago is the world capital of improvisation. Outside of Chicago, the improv world doesn't exist the way it does here. It's a much bigger thing. There are a lot more people who are involved in it, who are very passionate about it.
You're improvising as these characters, and then all of a sudden you just become aware of situations that your character would never have been in if you had just rehearsed the script. Well, I think that definitely the writing process, it has affected that. Now you'll see more works that generated, that instead of there being a playwright, the playwright writes a play, it's given to a director who casts a group of actors and then they perform it. Now you'll also have, it's more a collaboration, or instead of there being one writer, it's like you might not even have a writer. A director might just get an ensemble together, say this is what I want us to work on.
I think improv has a big cultural impact. The improv community is a subculture in and of itself. It's got its own group of people that do it and that know about it, and it has its own lingo and everything. And I think it's definitely impacted things, and we've seen that because you start to see more television shows that use improv to shoot, shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm or The League, things like that. They're shooting. They have basic outlines of what they want for their episodes, and then a lot of the lines themselves are improvised. And also the number of famous actors and actresses or writers who've come out of the world of improv. Where everything is a collaboration, that is also big. I mean, Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert and people like that. A lot of SNL people, Tina Fey, people like that, who all came out of this world of improv. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway, which is obviously just improv, and like theaters like this wouldn't exist.
Chicago will be forever marked in our history books as the birthplace of the Second City and where a new genre of theater was born. With that said, I leave you with one of the most memorable improvised lines in entertainment history from the 1942 classic, Casablanca.
Is looking at you, kid.